G Show Land, and welcome to another episode of the G Show Podcast. I am G1, and this is the Godzilla Block Party. Man, oh man, oh man, we are a couple of days away, less than a week away for Godzilla to be coming out on VOD. I'm excited to get my hands, well, not my hands on it, because the actual physical media doesn't come out until the end of the month. But as of now, August 1st, 2019, Godzilla King of the Monsters is right around the corner to be digitally in my house, and I cannot wait. We'll get into that, but before we do, let me introduce you, of course, to my co-host on the Godzilla Block Party, my brother Megzy, G73. Chase, what's going on?
Good morning, Vietnam. Blue Oyster Cult.
Also,
all right, how are you guys?
Oh, we chilling, you know that. Also, welcome back, Andrew Gam Z1. It's been a minute, my brother. How you doing?
Insert clever greeting here.
There it is. So yes, there's been a couple of things that dropped this week that we'll get into. I wanted to talk, like I said, that Godzilla's coming out next week. King of the Monsters is out on VOD next week digitally across pretty much all platforms. Can't wait to get my hands on that. Or like I said, well, digitally, and watch the crap out of it. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of special features they drop with it. I'm hoping there's some. I don't remember if 2014 did any special features on the digital copy. I'm not too sure, but I know they did that for Star Wars Episode 7. I know that for a fact because I was watching all the special features when before that movie came out on a disc. So, fingers crossed that there's some sort of special features on the VOD. If not, I can wait. Apparently, YouTube is putting up special features for everything nowadays. Like, frick, they got every single deleted scene from Avengers and more. So what the hell do I need the damn disc for? I just watch it on YouTube. But I hope that's not the case with Godzilla. You guys looking forward? Are you guys going to purchase the VOD or you're going to wait for the physical copy? Chase?
I mean, if I can afford it, I'll definitely buy it digital just to hold me over. But I mean, if I have to make a priority, it will be Blu-ray collectors, whatever I could find.
Gotcha, Andrew.
As of right now, I don't have the money for it, but I'm pretty sure next Friday, not tomorrow, but next Friday, the disc still won't be out, so I'm probably gonna buy it then.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And if I think right, I think the digital release actually got a pushed back date, right?
What? What are you talking about? What?
Just 1 second.
That's news to me. I could have sworn it was still the 3rd. No, not the 3rd. That's Sunday. The 6th, which I'm looking forward to next Tuesday to watch it before I have to go back to work on the 8th. Oh no, I'm not mad.
Godzilla
I mean, you can watch all the money shots right now on YouTube because people are somehow getting all the HD footage before the VOD even released.
Yeah, it's out there. I'll tell you that much.
August 13th.
August 13th? What the why?
Yeah.
Disappointment.
Right. Maybe it's because they're adding special features to the digital release.
Probably. Wow. So forget everything I said within the first minute and a half of this freaking episode.
And I apologize because it totally escaped me. And when you said digital release next week, I'm like, wait a minute. I just read something like 2 days ago and it said, hey, it's getting a pushback.
Man, oh man, you think it couldn't get any worse. Then we get news. Yesterday. Oh boy, here we go. This is actually a big item topic that I want to talk about, and because again, yeah, it's not Godzilla related, but it is in the realm of giant monsters and stuff, and it's sort of kind of Godzilla related. It's big news. Big news came out yesterday on Wednesday. Basically, Shin Ultraman is in the works from Shin Godzilla team and set for release in 2021. A new film production of Shin Ultraman was publicly announced today. The new movie will come to theaters in 2021. Hideki Anno will join a film team. Higuchi Gumi, led by director Shinji Higuchi, taking charge of produce. That's not true. of production and screenplay. First draft scripts have been finished in February. First draft scripts has been finished in February 5th, 2019. Okay, this is like a direct translation, like legitimately direct translation, because that's how the article is. That's how this is written. Anno will fully join the project after finishing his Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 film. Oh, God. Okay.
You're going to have to wash your mouth out.
Yeah. So, here's the deal for me personally, right? I just recently got onto the Ultraman bandwagon about a year or two ago. I watched the first complete original Ultraman series. I am still watching Ultra 7 because I go through these spurts. I've watched a couple of the movies and a couple of the offshoot shows like Galaxy Monster Fight Battle, something I forget in terms of what it is. And I enjoy them. I thoroughly enjoy them. I haven't really, like, outside of the giant Galaxy Monster Battle thing, that was like the most recent, and I don't mean that literally, but as far in terms of like within the last 10 years, that is the most recent version I've seen of Ultraman, outside of the original, 65, if I'm not mistaken, show, and then Ultra 7 that I've been watching. And I really do like it. It's simplistic, it's fun, it's childlike, man, and it really brings back, as somebody, is pushing 40, it brings this whimsical quality to, the giant monster genre with Ultraman. And yes, in a half an hour, they actually make some really fun stuff on really shoestring budgets. And we're so used to seeing Godzilla movies and the big spectacle and special effects, from Toho. And then you get these small little packages. I recently, earlier in July, watched the 2005 Ultraman film. I think that's when it was. I forget when, but like, it was an Ultraman film that they did, and I own it, and I watched it again. I want to just, get that feeling, get that Heisei feeling of Ultraman, and the modern feeling, and I enjoyed it. I really did. So I dig Ultraman. I can't claim it because, like I said, I just got on board to this. There are millions of us Godzilla fans that love Ultraman and been around for a lot longer than I have. But this is a disturbing thing for me because we already seen what this dude has done to Godzilla. And yes, make no mistake about it, I am extremely, extremely wary with this. I don't like this at all. I'm not going to sit here and say Shin Godzilla didn't do great in Japan, because apparently it did. It won Academy Award, Japanese Academy Awards, or the equivalent to that. It did its damn thing. Personally, I couldn't get behind it, but I'm not native to Japan. I understand that there might have been something there that they saw that they enjoyed. I didn't enjoy anything from that movie. I just recently watched Evangelion. I didn't enjoy that at all. And it wasn't from my hatred of Shin Godzilla. It was because the show's wacky. And I have a video up on there that I speak with Matt G95 for about an hour on it, and I give my reasons. This is crazy. This is absolutely nuts. They're taking Ultraman, and this ain't the first time that they've done this with Ultraman, where they tried to make it a little bit darker or different. There's a couple of Ultraman shows that, within the last decade or two, they really aren't made directed towards kids. They're more adult oriented. Like, for instance, I hear Ultraman Nexus is a little bit more mature and violent, and Ultra 7 something, I forgot it was basically like a new version of Ultra 7, Ultra 7X, I think, I forget. But that was way more mature. I watched like 2 episodes of that when I first started to get into Ultraman. Let me just start with whatever catches my eye. And that was the first thing that caught my eye. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? This is weird. This ain't for kids. But I digress. So they've done it before. And Ultraman has a distinct look. And Anno has a very distinct taste. And I mean, I'm not feeling this one bit. I'm not. And I've done rambled on and took about 5 minutes of time from my co-hosts here. So let me get right into it with them. I'm going to start with you, Gam Gams. What do you think about this news? I know you like Shin Godzilla, but like outside of that,
I mean,
where do you stand with this?
I can't imagine it'd be like much different than like the anime, because that's a vastly different departure than all the other Ultraman media the anime is. So like we could see something more akin to that, or except with, instead of Ultraman staying human size the whole time, he actually is big this time around. But Anno is weird. And that's just how he's always been. So anybody who's a fan of that weirdness obviously is going to be excited for it. Me, like, you guys know I love Shin Godzilla. As for Evangelion, I also watched that on Netflix, and even though I hear that's like the inferior version because of all the changes made to it, it's still a okay show. I'm still on the fence on whether or not I actually like it. But this news of Anno and Higuchi doing another project together is just kind of a thing, before I even pass judgment on it, I gotta see what they're doing to Ultraman. I gotta see what monsters are coming in. I just gotta see what the hell's going on first. But I will say, if Red King doesn't have an unhinging split jaw, it's already 0 out of 10.
Very good, very good. Yo, brother G73 Chase, man, how do you feel about this news?
All right. It's time we sit down and have a talk.
Uh-oh.
I have never been an Ultraman fan. I've never really gotten into Ultraman. The only thing of Ultraman I know is Zone Fighter, and that's just because of the obvious Godzilla, Gigan, King Ghidorah. So I never really watched Ultraman. I'm not even that much of a Power Rangers fan, and so I know they're two different things, but I'm just not into that type of thing, even when it comes to like kaiju, So Ultraman, whatever comes out of Ultraman, doesn't really pique my interest. Now, however, with that being said, Shin Ultraman sounds like it's going to be the most biggest comedy event I have ever probably seen. Can you imagine Shin Ultraman bends over, shoots lasers out of his ass at his enemies he's fighting, or shooting lasers out of his whole body? I would watch that in a heartbeat.
Oh boy.
So I would think I would watch it for that comic relief, So I mean, am I really gonna say no to that? Of course not. But no, in all seriousness, whatever Shin Ultraman is, I mean, if it has Shin in front of it nowadays, in my opinion, even though this will be the second thing, I'm probably gonna pass on it. But I mean, like I said, like it even if it's like one of the coolest things that kaiju fans like, even if I probably won't look at it just because I just don't care about Ultraman. Like it's like telling me that like I don't know that there's a new Fantastic Furious movie coming out. I'm not going to rush out and see it. It's not going to be my list. And what's funny is, but if you tell me there's a Shin Godzilla 2, that would pique my interest more than Shin Ultraman. So that's how much I don't care about it. But if it's a cool thing and it helps Japan and it helps Toho, then cool, man. Like that's great. Toho shouldn't just have to do Godzilla movies.
Toho has nothing to do with Ultraman.
Yeah, it's a Subaru.
Oh, okay, well,
Subaru. I can't
digress. Either way, if it gives out the word of just kaiju movies in Japan, period, anything to help that help the kaiju brand, then great. So that's where I stand on it. And that's how little I knew about Ultraman too, because I didn't know if Toho made it or not. I just assumed because of Shinji Higuchi and Anno, because of Shin Godzilla and stuff like that. But anyways, that's where I stand on it. It's it's kind of the gum under my shoe. So.
I hear you. I mean, yeah, I completely forgot about the anime too. So good call right there, Games, because I completely forgot about that. Which means I should.
Yeah, like the anime is so different from the classic TV shows that Ultraman has been practically everywhere at this point.
Yeah, it's true. And I was watching the anime and I was digging it, and then I forgot. Just like stopped one day and never went back to it. So I gotta go rectify that shit. I guess I'll do it next Tuesday, considering Godzilla's not coming to VOD now. Shit. I'll just binge watch.
I know, sorry, it's my fault.
I'll just binge watch the freaking Ultraman anime.
Thank you, Chase.
Thanks a lot.
You ruined. Yeah, I took work off because of this. You should have told me that when you found out.
Hey, I already have plans for Tuesday, so that's fine.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, you know what? So that's that. Yeah. Ultraman is one thing. Shin Ultraman is a complete another, and I'm still very much on the fence with that. I am not a fan. So that's that. Okay, I want to talk something real quick. There was an article that came out. It was an interview. Several different ones. Different things going on. I'm like, I don't know what to believe. But you know what? I go with, again, how I always say in the beginning of this thing, my right hand when it comes to Godzilla on the G Show. So I'm going to go with my brother Chase and his word here. So, yo, bro, you want to read some of the high points of this article, or the stuff that stuck out to you in this article with Akito Takahashi during Comic-Con?
Yeah, we can do that. So this article comes from Hidden Remote, and one of the topics that came up is that I wanted to address. Hidden Remote asks, what does the future of Godzilla look like after Godzilla vs. Kong? And Akito says, so in terms of movies, we don't have anything specific to share at this point. There's a huge production going on next year. That's sort of where we're at right now. But in terms of where Godzilla may be headed, there will be a lot of new creations, new touch points for fans. So we're very excited to see what's going to come next. There might be some coming out of Japan. There might be something coming in from the United States. There might be a collaboration. We're unsure, but we're excited to know as well. So right at the dot there, that spoke to me that just basically in the terms of where things are going is still exciting, because they're basically just brainstorming. What do they want to do? And I'm excited for that, because I'm excited for any possibility. And it's funny because when he mentions collaboration, it almost reminds me of what we talked about last week with, a universe with Monarch. Remember I was telling you about the Dragonology type thing where Monarch goes and looks for these monsters, and it's canon with the characters in it. Right. Remember we were talking about that, Ray?
We were.
So that's kind of funny, because that could be totally a thing. As far as Godzilla King of the Monsters goes, the movie ended with the Titans bowing to Godzilla. Is this going to present a challenge for Kong and Godzilla's coexistence? And Takashi says, although it's the same character of Godzilla as well as the same studio, Legendary producing those movies, it'll be a different director. So there's a huge chance that this is probably going to be a separate storyline that has nothing to do with this one, King of the Monsters, because it's not created by the same people. So it's not so much going to be a sequel, and Godzilla never really does any sequels. They just do different types of Godzilla again and again. It's going to be in the eye of the beholder of the creator. I already want to disagree with this thing, because it has already been confirmed that King of the Monsters picks up, or Godzilla vs. Kong picks up right after King of the Monsters. So
yeah, I mean, look, what he's saying,
and them saying Godzilla doesn't have sequels. What, he forgot the Heisei series exists?
For real, I know. The Godzilla X Mechagodzilla in Tokyo SOS. It's just bad. That's baffling to me. That he would even say that. You're an executive from Toho, brother. You should, and you're on the road for Godzilla. You should know better. You should know better.
That really just put a bad taste in my mouth because that's coming. I didn't even read this when I read the article, and he's like, "What does that even mean?" Like, Takashi, what are you saying, man? I don't know what your big thing is, man, but you're really in the wrong there. Could you maybe shed some light on the misconception that all these different Godzilla movies are directly connected? So that's the franchise that America has created with movies, universes in the Marvel series, but that's not the way the Godzilla universe is going to be set up. It is, however, a sequel to the 2014 movie, and like the broadest way, as some of the recurring characters are coming back in. But in terms of the product itself, like where the story ends, I believe the story ends where the movie does, and then there's a different story that starts. Okay, so that's just his opinion about it.
Yeah, he probably didn't even read the casting because, I mean, Millie Bobby Brown's coming back. Her father's coming back. I mean, like, this is a direct sequel.
What's so funny is there was a topic talking about this the other day, too, and he was brought up under this the subject, or maybe it wasn't him, but they were talking about what returning cast is coming, and he said there's going to be a lot of surprise returning cast members. Or someone said that.
Dr. Serizawa confirmed. Destroyer.
Serizawa. Then he asked about so this is the main thing I really wanted to talk about. Can you say anything towards Kong's appearance in the upcoming Godzilla vs. Kong? And he says, our staff hasn't seen any of the visuals yet. And I'm stopping right there. Hasn't seen any of the visuals yet. Didn't Legendary just show a big featurette the other day with a while back, a couple of months ago, at a festival in Europe?
Oh, not CinemaCon. Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, they did.
And it was something in Europe. So right now, whether that big thing that came out about them showing Godzilla versus Kong stuff is a lie or he's lying. And so this is what's really weird, because if he hasn't seen any visuals, who has?
No, I don't think that's a lie. I think they did show things at that convention, that whatever it was in Europe. That's not something they would just say. What's the purpose? Honestly.
Well, but if he's the CEO of Toho and everything has to be approved by Toho, how come he hasn't seen anything then?
I don't listen. To be honest with you, that's a great question. But there's no way that Legendary is just gonna say, for the sake of saying, Warner Brothers is gonna put something out that says, "Yeah, we showed this footage, and they loved it." Like, it would make zero sense for them to do that.
I guess it definitely could be a thing where he's just like being hush hush about it.
And I see that too, because sometimes that's actually a great point, Chase. That's actually a great point. Because maybe he is doing it. Maybe he's just being playful with this in this interview. Maybe he's saying all the wrong things on purpose, misleading you, throwing you off the scent. Because maybe he has seen things. And I'll use Mark Hamill as an example. My favorite person in the entire universe. I love me some Mark Hamill. He is my favorite hero in Luke Skywalker. He is my all-time favorite villain as the voice of the Joker. And he's just an all-around funny guy. I love Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill loves to get himself into trouble when it comes to spoiling shit, when it comes to Star Wars.
And I really hope that's the case for this, because I did just find where he contradicts himself about Godzilla versus Kong.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. So I'm thinking that maybe that is the case. Where Mark Hamill now, he'll go on his social media feeds and he'll just randomly tweet some random stuff out that actually makes sense when you see the movie, but when you look at it, 5-6 months away from the the film or anything, you're like, what the hell is he doing? And he just loves doing that. So instead of let's say that this person in general, Takashi or whatever, Takahashi, he's like, I'm not going to say a damn thing. And instead, I'm going to say I didn't see anything. This way, I can't make that mistake and say, oh yeah, there's this epic sequence where, Kong runs and grabs Godzilla's mouth and tries to rip it open, and then Godzilla just spits blue flame in his freaking face. And come on, because let's be for real here. Who doesn't want to see that, right? So maybe he's saying I didn't see nothing on purpose and just to mislead us, because that's the way I could totally see that happening.
And that totally could be. It's also a thing where it totally could be like on the lines of covering a mistake, you know. But with, I guess what I'm saying with that is like, let's say it is true and nothing visually has been shown yet, they haven't seen, that just more gives me the superstition that Godzilla versus Kong will not be coming out in March.
Game, you've been very quiet over here. I want to hear your take on everything we were just talking about.
My thoughts on the whole thing is basically your thoughts, Ray. He could just be misdirecting us, just to throw us off the scent. It's entirely possible, because from what I'm hearing, from what Chase is saying, there's a lot of contradictions going on, and some flat out misinformation. What with him saying there's no such thing as sequels, and I'm just like, wait, what? So it could just be that. It could just be he's just Warner Brothers is just keeping Toho in the dark, because, you know, even though they showed this to people at this con, maybe they're not comfortable enough showing Toho yet. But then again, that also kind of doesn't make sense, because wouldn't Toho have to have seen it first before they showed anybody? But I don't know.
Right.
And that's a whole other thing too, because it's like, you know, technically we don't know what's going on. Toho could have been like, we know you guys are doing Godzilla versus Kong. We'll let you guys do this as long as you find these guidelines, and we'll just see the visuals when you're ready to show them to us.
You know what's another crazy thing I just thought of? What if what was shown was just Kong? Toho doesn't own Kong, you know what I mean? So if Godzilla wasn't a part of that sequence, which I really find hard to believe, but let's just say if he wasn't...
I do believe when they talked about a description of it, it was a scene with Godzilla and Kong.
Oh, okay. All right. So, so, I mean, maybe he's trying to just throw us off the scent.
It could be.
Being very modest about it.
I'll just brush through the rest of it, because it's like, I don't want to get into too much off-topic stuff, but he talks about how his boss, which makes total sense with everything now, our boss, who probably is the main squeeze of all this, who probably has seen the visuals for Godzilla vs. Kong, has been traveling to the United States and is content with his findings, so the Toho team is very excited to learn any new information as well. Then the contradictory about the characters.
Wait, real quick, though, before you get into that you just read a contradiction. Because if he said he didn't see anything, but then the boss is traveling around and likes what he sees, then that just means right there, then he probably hasn't seen nothing, and his role is not as big as one might think when it comes to what's going on behind the scenes with Legendary. Like, maybe his role in Toho is something different. Like, with Toho, he knows, like, let's say they have, and we don't know for sure, but let's just say hypothetically, it's like the Marvel Universe. They have the next 10 years of films planned out. He might know that, but as far as what, like, Legendary's doing, only his boss knows, you know, and maybe the boss is
pay-grade stuff and everything.
Yeah.
So here's the question. Isn't Shogo Tomiyama still, like, the head of Toho?
I wouldn't know that, buddy.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
Yeah, so maybe if he's still around, maybe he's seen stuff, and just nobody's gotten around to talk to him.
If this is the boss he's talking about, yeah, right?
I'm thinking maybe Takashi was maybe the CEO project manager. Like, he's the one that will talk and interviews and stuff like that. But you think if you're a project manager like that, you would have knowledge that your boss would know as well, because then it's like, why are you doing interviews then?
Well, because remember, his thing there, it wasn't about Legendary. It was about Godzilla, right? So it wasn't about Godzilla versus Kong. It was about, we're here, because we've talked about this. We're here
That's
to
a great point you bring
Godzilla. We're here to globally make Godzilla a global brand. We're bringing Godzilla into the market for everyone now. Remember, we had this conversation. It's not about Japan anymore. It's about the world. We want to conquer the world. Godzilla wants to conquer the world. We want Godzilla to conquer the world. So I'm thinking maybe he doesn't necessarily know anything about the Legendary stuff. He might know some things, but not everything. He didn't, like, maybe he'd never seen anything, only because it's not his job to. His job is to promote Godzilla to the world. And then that, in the context of this, even though the sequel thing is wacky, then his comments kind of make sense. It starts to make sense, you know?
And that makes a lot of sense what you're saying. It makes sense why he's contradicting himself, because maybe he is strictly there to just talk about the branching of Godzilla, not just specifics. You know, he does mention here that when the question brought up about Legendary integrating elements from Japanese versions into the American franchise, he does say that we think it's very, I'm just going to skip through, but he says, we think it's very important to Legendary to develop their own version of Godzilla, and we highly support them from Japan as well. But he talks about at this point, those conversations aren't really happening. Legendary has its own version of how they want to create their Godzilla platform. And Toho does come in and makes sure it is streamlined to ensure the Godzilla's characters are treated correctly. And he talks about how Toho wants to give any director or creator of Godzilla the leeway to use old and new characters, not feel like grounded to only. They want to give them freedom. He's talking about, and I think that's really cool.
And this is coming from the Toho side, not Legendary. This is like for Toho.
This is coming from the. Well, they're talking about if it is. They're saying regardless whether it's Toho or something from Hollywood.
Okay, so let me pose this question. I'll start with you, Gam Gams. Do you think this is hinting at the possibility of a shared universe between Toho and Legendary to continue? Because here's the thing: I read an article that was very similar to this, but like I said, I deferred to Chase because he is my resident Godzilla guy. In the article I read, they were saying that this was it for Legendary. After Godzilla vs. Kong, there really weren't no plans. So Toho was now, we're going to do our thing. Because as of now, if I'm not, in the article I read, he was basically saying Legendary's got to put their shit out first. And then when they're done, we're going to start doing our thing again. Because especially how it's Godzilla, King of the Monsters in 2019, and then Godzilla vs. Kong in 2020. There's no gap as there was from 2014 to 2019 where you can fit in Shin Godzilla and you can fit in 3 anime movies. There was no Godzilla at the time. You had Kong. That was it. There was no Godzilla, so you could fit that in and keep them conscious and keep it in the public conscience. So do you think, Gangams, I'm asking you, that this is maybe them planting seeds saying, and again, this article's not making mention of this is it for Legendary. The one I read was like after Godzilla vs. Kong, it's done. But as Chase alluded to earlier before we started reading this article, the idea of Monarch being around within the Toho universe as a mild continuity, you know what I mean? Where they can just adapt it and run with it. Do you think this is a seeds planting that they can say, hey, we can actually get behind this and create this universe over here and still globally branded?
I mean, that would be quite interesting, to be honest, because that would make the implications that, like, the other monsters that were featured in King of the Monsters, like Behemoth and Scylla and all that, could be used with Toho too, and that's just that's just a great prospect if the World of Godzilla project happens to be just the Legendary universe just continuing under Toho's branding rather than Legendary's.
That is great because I never thought of that.
Because technically, the Legendary is making the movies, but Toho still owns all the characters,
right?
And possibly even everything that they make because they're still using their characters. So, I mean, it all just kind of depends on whether or not the original aspects of the MonsterVerse belongs to Warner Brothers or Toho, because both Warner Brothers distributes worldwide, but if you know that the Legendary movies aren't distributed by Warner Brothers in Japan, they're distributed by Toho.
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of up in the air right now when you really think about it.
Huh. Chase, what about you, man? What do you think?
I think there's a lot of things in between the lines that and I think it goes along with his contradictions. I think he's trying to say, like, we have a big plan for Godzilla to continue in line, because he mentions crossovers and he mentions characters crossing over, and he mentions a lot of that several times. Like I didn't read it, but he's talking about how, like, there's, like, in Godzilla versus Kong, like, there's going to be tons of characters that cross over and stuff like that. But I didn't read it just because, like, we knew that was going to happen. But he mentions, like, the crossover of, like, a collaboration in the beginning of the article, and that's kind of a bold thing to say. So, I mean, I don't know exactly what it is, but I definitely see it in a realm of possibility. You know, I really don't know, but, like, I would love that. You know, I would really love to see a continuation with Monarch, you know, like a Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them type thing. And there's perils and stuff like that with kaiju, and, you know, and then, like, on the lines of other things, though, like, I haven't really found any articles saying about, like, after Legendary it's done. So I don't know what article you found, but I mean, that's not really important where I'm going to this, but I think, like, if that was the case, they wouldn't be saying anything like this, because there's been several articles that I found, and they all have talked about different separate things of how the U.S. will be able to continue with Godzilla, whether it be Legendary or something else. Okay. So I think the possibilities are basically endless at this point.
My fingers are crossed again. And I hate bringing it up.
What if the United States gets the chance to do their own miniseries? Yeah. What if the United States gets the chance to do their own Netflix?
And trust me, I love the what if hypotheticals. I really do. And I hate bringing this up, but the fact remains that King of the Monsters wasn't as successful as we wanted it to be. And damage control definitely was put in place. And, you know, everybody got to put on a happy face. Hey, we made our money back. We recouped. Not to the extent that, honestly, you need to continue a franchise and a universe like this. And that's just the fact. That's it. Take a look at what happened to the DCEU. Those movies bombed, and you have, seriously, in my opinion, the greatest superheroes of all time. And they couldn't get it right. And I'm not saying that Legendary ain't getting it right. All I'm saying is, it didn't make as much money as those movies made, and those movies ain't continuing. There's no way somebody's going to continue to shell out the money to continue this. And that's why I believe, like, at the end of the day, Godzilla vs. Kong is it. That's it. And it takes a hiatus in terms of America stuff, but this is where I think it's perfect. It's a perfect opportunity for Toho to just pick up the reins and run with it again. And if they're saying we're going to globally brand it, they can make this movie again. They can make their movies a lot cheaper than what Hollywood makes their movies for, right? And if you globally brand it, regardless if the normal, you know, movie-going audiences go see the movie or not, they know the fans are going to come out, and they will make a worldwide, I'm telling you this true story, worldwide, they would make more money than what King of the Monsters made on their budget comebacks. You know what I mean? If they say, all right, we're going to brand Godzilla worldwide, and we're going to do this, and after Godzilla vs. Kong is over, we're going to do our thing again, but we're going to distribute it worldwide, they'll make their money back and more. And I think that, to me, makes more sense than Legendary continuing. Now, don't get me wrong, anything is possible, and believe you me, I would love if the Legendary universe would continue. I love this universe. I do. There's a place where I'm kind of like, man, I wish they would just go a little bit closer to the original 2014, and make it feel more impactful than what it is, because these movies nowadays, it is what it is, man. Godzilla King of the Monsters, in my opinion, is dope. But it is just a slugfest. That's it. It's the complaints of everybody from 2014 come to light. And I ain't mad at that. But I was just like, it takes away the mystery and the mystique of Godzilla that Gareth Edwards had set up in 2014. I'm getting way off topic with this. I would love to see Legendary continue. I just don't believe, because of the current trend of budget and the get back, it's just not there. And
I definitely see where you're coming from with that, but where I counter argue is the fact that regardless of how you feel about it or think about it, it has been stated several times now that they do have the plan to allow Hollywood to continue in some shape or form with Godzilla. And that's where I stand. I don't care if it's Legendary or not, but the fact that they said that the United States, Hollywood, will have some shape or form of doing their own thing, that's where I pay more attention to. Now, whether it's Legendary is irrelevant at this point.
Well, I need to see those.
Legendary.
Send me those articles, because I haven't seen anything about that. So send me the articles, the tweets, whatever.
That's in everything that I've sent you, though.
I haven't seen any of that. That's the thing. I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't see it. If they're talking about the right now, then yes, that makes sense. Because again, we still have one movie to come.
And that brings me to the other thing. And of course, if Godzilla vs. Kong is not the box office gander that it needs to be, that's totally going to change things. And I totally believe that. But I'm focusing on what's been being said right now about the future of the stakes. And as of right now, that is, their plans are basically it's going to be split 2 and 2.
Gotcha. I got you. So
that's where I stand on it.
No, I ain't mad at you at all. I'm not. I see exactly where you're coming from. You're in the now, and I'm in the future, and I get it because you right now are riding off of everything that's happening now, and I'm over here looking at a potential disaster, and it could change like that in a dime, and it could be absolutely a success, and then, like I said, and we could get a lot more coming from that. Andrew, where do you stand on this?
I just kind of like to live in the now. Looking towards the future is kind of almost fruitless to me, because like anything could change at any given moment, we could get an announcement tomorrow that there's going to be like that they secured the rights to Gamera and there's going to be a Godzilla versus Gamera movie. We don't know.
That would get asses in seats. That's not true. People would be like, what? A giant turtle? What the fuck? Nah. And that would be...
The perfect example to what Andrew's saying is exactly what's going on right now. Because remember a year ago when Toho came out and said after Godzilla vs. Kong, Toho's going to start doing their thing again. And then now just this year they come out and be like, hey, no, we're doing this panel and we're going to bring Godzilla forth and about how it's going to be a global reign. That wasn't talked about a year ago. So things definitely change constantly.
Right, and I feel you. I definitely get you. I guess it's my old fuddy-duddiness, just like following trends, and I hate applying it to Godzilla because I love it so much. But when I look at other, franchises, I know I shouldn't do it, but I do, and it's just a thing.
I know why you think that way, and I'm not saying that's wrong, because I definitely think your side too. I definitely think that like if Godzilla vs. Kong is this box office bomb like King of the Monsters was, or isn't what I mean. I wouldn't say, where I'm going with it.
I know what you're saying.
I definitely don't see it continuing. Like, I mean, if they do, then that's on them. That's not on us. And that would be great. But how business goes. At the end of the day, money is what makes it go around. And the thing is like, and that's fine, whatever they want to do, because there's nothing that we can do in our hands but just support them. But where I go from it is, and I lost it again. But
listen, in a perfect world, right?
Yeah,
in a perfect world, we get this. We get like the video games, right? You know how like Call of Duty, Activision has. I don't know what they're doing now, but from when I was playing Call of Duty, you had Treyarch doing Black Ops, and then Infinity Ward doing like Modern Warfare and whatever the case may be. In a perfect world, right? Everything works to our favor, and we love it. And we get Legendary putting out a movie here, Toho putting out a movie the next year. Legendary and then it's like a 2-year, it's a process that they take their time with it, they nurture it, And yes, we're getting a Godzilla movie every year, but we're getting it from different companies in different places. And I would love that. That is the perfect future, and that's the one I hope for.
I remember where I was going to say with that. It definitely, with that also being said, makes me think that Godzilla vs. Kong is put on a delay. Because think about it. If let's say what they're saying is completely true, and they want Legendary and Hollywood to continue with their types of movies as well, they're not just going to push Godzilla vs. Kong out just for a buck. You know? Because that would be a stupid mistake, a stupid risk. So that's why I feel like it's not coming out in March. I think after all this being said, like, it's not coming out when they say.
Well,
you know, it may be a bit.
Well, to take a page from your book, that's what's on paper right now. So that's what I'm going with right now. You know what I mean? So we just reversed roles there. You just became me, and I just became you.
Yeah, and that's funny because, but the thing is, but what's yeah, I don't know. It's funny because whenever they talk about the topic of Godzilla versus Kong, like, it's almost like they want to avoid it.
Well,
anything I've read about, it's like they want to avoid that topic as of right now.
That's a great point. Hang on a second, Andrew. That Chase just made a great point in regards to that. Do you feel that? Because honestly, he said that and all of a sudden it just clicked. Jed, it feels that way to me. What do you think?
I mean, it's almost like they're retreading the waters of the 2014 movie because, like, we got next to nothing until the movie actually came out.
Oh, God, you're right. Absolutely right.
Like, they could just be going super secret with it, and we won't be getting anything until maybe months from now. I have no idea. I mean, yeah, King of the Monsters was pushed very hard, but that's like a totally different directing team, totally different marketing team, you know. So who knows what'll happen, you know?
Yeah, you know, Chase, man, you made that was a great point because as soon as you said that, I'm like, yeah, it kind of fade out. Well, let me ask this question.
That's kind of what's been bothering me about Godzilla versus Kong is because, and it's funny because, like, I never thought of putting it that way either, but like it just came out like that, and like it makes it like everything that's been said about it. It's like, yeah, we're putting a Band-Aid on it, you know, and that's it.
So
you know,
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you all a question. Do you think because of the super marketing campaign of King of the Monsters, and of course, like, we didn't get a trailer at Comic-Con for Godzilla vs. Kong, which was a little upsetting for me personally, but we got one a year, you know, before King of the Monsters did for King of the Monsters. Do you think they said, okay, you know what? Let's not do this. And like what Gam Gam said, with 2014, they did a Comic-Con thing, but then it was very quiet and wrapped, right? Maybe they're saying, you know what? Let's not spend the money. Let's not go crazy. Let's just wait. Maybe 2 to 3 months before the movie comes out, and then start hammering it home. Here it is. So, Chase, you think that's plausible? What they're doing? You think they're just keeping everything under wraps right now, or they really work at trying to make a fantastic film?
I even think like maybe the thing they did show in Europe was that 2014 thing, and they just decided to do it there and not at Comic-Con. You know, and that's what's going to be there, and maybe they're going to use that as like, this will be what we go on for test footage and feedback. I think that's highly possible. I definitely agree. Like, that could be the case. Definitely.
Hold on, Gam, what about you, brother?
With that being said, I guess with that being said, is like, when will we start seeing something then? Because if that is the case where it's under wraps, you know, do they show it at New York Comic-Con? Because if they don't show it at New York Comic-Con, what's after that?
Nothing. The Super Bowl.
Unless they bank on it and make it come out, and they show the trailer for it on Godzilla's birthday.
Yeah, what I would do. If I recall correctly, New York Comic-Con is like the last con of the year.
It is.
So that's like their last chance to show anything. And if they don't show anything, then pretty much we got to just keep our eyes on YouTube to see if Legendary puts out anything.
Hey, I will say this: the Godzilla 65th anniversary, I think it's a perfect place to do it. Give us just one, and then hold it off, because we made mention of this a couple podcasts ago. You know, you put the trailer out for King of the Monsters, get everybody psyched, and then there's nothing until January. Until January, when we got that fantastic, greatest trailer of all time, second trailer for any movie. I defend that shit. That second trailer is the greatest trailer I've ever seen in my life. But then there was a marketing barrage. So
in my perfect world, what would happen is they'll put out a trailer in December or November, and then it will come out in March, because then you still have the hype of the trailer. And that's where I do honestly feel like where John Campea was right in the effect of, like, with the King of the Monsters trailer coming out and then the movie coming out a year later, and then it was just fatigue of trailer fatigue. I definitely feel like he was right in the sense that kind of burned the hype for the movie for a lot of people. So I think if they put out another good trailer and the movie comes out shortly after, I think that'll be a smart move.
Okay, listen, we've been on this topic for way longer than I wanted it to do, because we still got two more things to talk about, so I want to get into it real quick. This same article that Chase was reading from also said, and this was big news too, that just dropped this week, that they are continuing to make Godzilla animes. They're going to continue to do it. But in this article, it says that it's not going to have anything to do with what Netflix did. So, let me hear, is that a yay or a nay? Gam.
Oh, boy. Anime. My favorite form of media.
It's the best. What are you talking about?
I mean, if it's got nothing to do with that trash trilogy, then I'll wait to see what happens. It could be good, it could be bad. I've heard conflicting reports. Maybe I want to say, maybe a month ago, I heard rumors that there was going to be a fourth movie that takes place, like, in the same world that the Netflix trilogy was, and that just got me going. But if it's not in the same world, like Chase has been saying over and over, in a perfect world, we would be getting a Godzilla anime series, not a movie, a series, traditional 2D animation with a good story. And if that happens to be the case, then I'm on board for it. But if it's another experimental, we just doing something different for the sake of being different film, then.
You gave me an idea, but before I go on that tangent, Chase, what do you think? Yay or nay with this new anime?
As long as it's not going to have the Mothra twins trying to hook up with the main person and the story, not wanting to make life, I'm down.
Connect life, not make life.
Connect life.
I completely forgot Mothra was in that movie.
That was the most disturbing part of that whole series for me. But I'm on board, man. I like the idea. I mean, like you know me. I've said in the past, like, it's hard for me to watch cartoons. It's hard for me to watch animes. It's just the way it is, medical conditions with my eyes, everything like that. It's hard. But for Godzilla, I'll give it a shot. Anything form of Godzilla, I'll give it a shot. You know? So, I mean, if they want to do something cool with another anime type thing or animated movie, cool, do it. You know, I think there's a lot of things that could aid an animated type film. So there's a lot of things you can do in an animated film that you can't really do in, like, other type film. So, give it a shot, I'm on board.
All right, here we go. I'm going to go back to something you said that I was disagreeing with. Now, all of a sudden, I'm on another page. You said that Toho is saying that the United States will be able to continue utilizing Godzilla. What is to say, all right, that Legendary does end with Godzilla vs. Kong, the cinematic universe, but continues like Sony did and made a spectacular Godzilla series out of that 98 fiasco. What if they did something like that? What if Legendary goes into the animation business? Because I think there's a Pacific Rim animation coming out for Netflix real soon. What if they do that? What if they use Godzilla in the Monarch brand? for anime and make a series of movies or just a series altogether. That's how, and maybe that's what Toho means by, oh no, it's going to continue. We're good. Personally, I would love that because the cost is not going to be as high as making feature-length films, grabbing, super talented actors to do absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? You get voice actors, you do the animation, you set it in that universe, and oh my god, yes, I want to see a Godzilla and Kong and Rodan and Mothra and anybody else they want to bring in from the freaking Toho brand, or keep the OG legendaries now, like Cilia, like freaking Kembe Mbembe, Baffle, yeah, all of that. Behemoth, bring that. If that's what they are going to do, I am on board. Matter of fact, what I say last week? I am the conductor on the train. Choo, choo. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, so Chase, what if they go that route?
I would be cool with that. Honestly, it'd be cool. I mean, of course, it would even be a thing, I would like a break from a little bit. Let's say even if, they do continue Legendary or, live action films, but they give us a break, a breather for a bit, that would be cool. Something to put in the filler. Because it's not like there has to always be live action Godzilla movies. Give us something, different. Give us a taste of things. An animated film would be cool. But I honestly feel like what's next for me, if anything, is I definitely want a new video game really bad.
We'll talk about that next week. Gans, what about you? Animated series?
If it's based off of the Legendary series, yeah, that'd be pretty dope. I'd be down for that.
I mean, it worked for Sony.
The Legendary series has proven to be, at least to me, superior to what Toho's been doing, with the exception of Shin Godzilla.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, superior to what Toho's been doing with the anime trilogies. So, if they go the safe route and incorporate the Monarch and the Titans and all that to an animated series, that'd be pretty dope, because it's not dumb, boring bullshit. It's different for the sake of being different.
Ah, well, there you have it. We did it. We actually are coming in under where I thought we were gonna not come under. But last and certainly not least, I do want to give shout outs to the queen of the monsters, Mothra. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. She is celebrating her anniversary. She first came out in 1961. This is her anniversary. Apparently, her birthday. I'm looking it up right now. I mean, I've seen it. It was all over the place. But in 1961, Mothra came out, and I think it was recently, this week actually. So, happy birthday to the queen of the monsters! Real quick, I want to know what's your most memorable Mothra moments, Gam?
Ooh, that's a good one. Probably my most memorable Mothra moment has to come from King of the Monsters, when Mothra swoops in as Ghidorah is gaining the upper hand. Mothra swoops in and just webs him to the building and turns the tide, at least for a little while.
Good one. That's a good one. Gam, I just asked you. Chase, I know I'm putting you on the spot, bro, but what's some of your favorite Mothra moments? What's one of your, if not your favorite Mothra moment?
So I have two.
Okay.
My first favorite moment is, which is funny because Mothra versus Godzilla is my favorite out of the Mothra versus Godzilla series. But Godzilla Mothra Battle for Earth, when Mothra pops out of the egg and they're in the water and Godzilla comes and then Batra joins, that's probably my favorite moment.
Oh, okay.
But my second is in King of the Monsters, when she sacrifices herself.
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely. I got several favorite Mothra moments, and they go like this. Mothra dying in Mothra vs. Godzilla. Mothra dying in Mothra Rebirth. Mothra getting disintegrated by Godzilla and GMK. Mothra, Freya Geigen sacrificing in a kamikaze. Boom! I love that scene in Final Wars. Mothra doing a kamikaze. Come on, man. Come on, man. And of course, wait, I forgot one. Mothra dying in Godzilla X Mothra X Mega Godzilla, whatever it is, Tokyo SOS, and Mothra sacrificing herself to give Godzilla this nuclear pulse in King of the Monsters. So unfortunately, Mothra fans, and I'm sorry.
How dare you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that. I'm sorry. But the fact of the matter is,
Andrew, he can't sit with us at lunch no more.
That's it.
Yeah, no.
Listen,
you're out of the cool club.
Listen, while I respect Mothra and I love Mothra and I love, Godzilla versus Mothra or Mothra versus Godzilla, whatever the original Showa version. I love that movie. While I love Battle for Earth before it was called Battle for Earth, when it was just to me Godzilla versus Mothra and I didn't know what the subtitle was. Love that movie. I don't like the Mechagodzilla movie, so Tokyo SOS. There's some moments that I like. For instance, the callback to the original 61 Mothra. Dope.
You know
Thumbs
what?
up.
You know what? I got a few more favorite moments.
Here we go.
Mothra larvas webbing up Godzilla, defeating him in 1964. Mothra dropping Godzilla into the ocean in Godzilla vs. Mothra 92. Mothra defeating literally all of her enemies in the freaking Mothra trilogy. The Mothra twins webbing up Godzilla so that Kiryu can take him into the ocean.
Yep.
And I got one. When Mothra stabs Rodan in the chest with her stinger.
And on that note, we're leaving. That's it. I can't believe you brought that shit up. How could you do that? Why would you do that to me? You know better. Oh, that's dirty pool, bro. That's under the table. That's dirty, bro. That's messed up. No, let me listen. Mad respect to Mothra. Happy birthday, Queen of the Monsters. You deserve the moniker. I do love me some Mothra. To be honest with you, I love Armored Mothra. That shit is dope. Rainbow Mothra is awesome to look at. What's that? Mothra Leo, right? Dope.
Yeah.
And yeah, look, shit. Even in Tokyo SOS, man, when Mothra fights Godzilla before the larvae get there, it's cool, man. It's cool. Bad editing, but it's a cool sequence nonetheless. I give my props to Mothra. I did that shit on purpose. Hey, not Hideki, oh my God. Jesus Christ. Kaneko, he gave Mothra the stingers, baby. The stingers. Hey, who would have saw that coming? Huh? Who would have saw that coming? I'll tell you who. Michael Dougherty. That's who. He used the damn stinger to stab Rodan. Some bullshit. We out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Yo, that'll do it for us, ladies and gentlemen of the G-Show land. I want to thank you guys. Chase, man, thank you for being on the podcast once again.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys giving me a little bit of time.
And Gam Z1 Andrew, man, thank you for, being back with us, man. I know it's been a couple of weeks, but I'm happy you're here.
Yeah, I made sure I set up like 5 alarms so that I'd wake up for this because the past 2 Thursdays haven't been the same.
I wish Andrew was a part of the last one because that was a fun one.
That was
the Criterion talk. I wish I was there for that.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know what we're talking about, go back one episode and watch that one. Me and Chase, we go in. But that'll do it for us. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for joining us. I am G1. This is the Godzilla Block Party. We out of here. Peace.